Hey guys, HDV here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got quite a few things to cover. Some rumors have dropped regarding the stat distributions of the new Legends EA Mega Starter Pokemon. We have some other Legends EA things to take a look at and some new Nintendo Switch 2 updates as well. Plenty of things to break down today. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, I wanted to quickly go over this. It's regarding the story leaks in Pokemon Legends EA that have been popping up. Don't worry, we're not going to go over any story leaks in today's video, but this is quite I guess, an important bit of information that you kind of need to know about. So we've got Soul Silver out here tweeting out, saying something important to note about the current Pokemon Legends EA story spoilers that are being posted. I'd advise taking them with a grain of salt. They are coming from very, very good sources and legitimate sources, but remember that this is not the full game that these leaks are coming from. It is a beta kind of build of the game that wasn't even fully completed. So any info we have has likely gone through multiple layers of telephone, starting with the original info possibly being machine translated from Japanese. So while the basic idea of what is being said is there, the details may not be totally accurate. So if I've understood correctly, one of the people getting inside information even apparently saw parts of the script and said that it was originally in Japanese and it was then translated. So again, this means there is still room to speculate on the details surrounding the spoiled plot points, and we shouldn't be so quick to assume everything is 100% set in stone, especially because this was all from a beta build of ZA2. So the main consensus is the fact that yes, these leaks are coming from a reputable source, but they have been translated, and again, could have been translated badly. And as well as that, they are coming from an early build of the game where things can change. Remember, Mega Zeraora was leaked to be in Pokemon Legends EA, and then we found out that it's not actually going to be in the final build. That could happen to any of the Mega Evolutions that have been leaked, any of the story spoilers that have leaked. This could all apply to that as well. So even though you may see something that you might not want to see, like by the time the game comes out, you are probably accidentally going to see something you don't want to see in regards to leaks and stuff. It might not even end up being true. So I just wanted to quickly go over that because it is quite important regarding all these leaks, because there's so many coming out right now regarding the story. So just remember, a lot of it generally might not be true or might be translated badly, and again, might not even be in the final build. And as well as that, continuing on from these leaks regarding Mega Zeraora, so we've got Soul Silver right here saying, ZA spoilers, I don't think the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Legends EA will add any new content and is just what's listed on the site. So I don't think Mega Zeraora will be locked behind buying the Nintendo Switch 2 and the ZA Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I don't think that's going to happen in the slightest. I think if we ever get Mega Zeraora, it will either be in a DLC or it will either be in a sort of, I guess, mystery gear for Pokemon Champions or something like that. So there's other great ways it could be added back. If there's ZA DLC, that's the most obvious. Or maybe it's just a special event Pokemon like Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, which were cut and then repurposed as special gift/events later. But my favorite idea is what Yori has posted or proposed, being a special gift Pokemon that you can get when you download Champions. Very mythical Pokemon coded. So we have Yori in here saying, since Champions connects to home, think maybe we'll get a free gift Pokemon from it. Zeraora maybe. Incentive to download and a way to give us Mega capable non-Generation 6 Mythical. That could also make it permanently available. They have been doing that with Mythicals lately. I remember Zeraora was also like an early kind of reward for playing Pokemon Unite. So it is a mythical Pokemon that they have kind of been throwing around early to people that are playing these games. So you never know, could be ZA DLC, could be Champions, could have just been scrapped altogether, but I wanted to quickly go over it regardless because it is quite a big topic of conversation right now. Coming up next, we have some Nintendo Switch 2 updates and rumors to go over regarding pre-orders. So you probably heard last night or the day before or whenever it went effect. But basically, the president has authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered tariff during that period of 10%, also effective immediately. So this is really good news because it means that when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, these tariffs will have not taken effect. So it's very likely that the price is not going to be changing when the Switch 2 drops. Now, after that 90-day period, things could change, but when the Switch 2 drops, it will be, you'd like to think, $450 for the base console or whatever it is, $500 for the bundle. It also raises a couple of questions as to like, well, if the price is probably going to go up when these tariffs kind of get implemented, if no deals are kind of done, does that mean that it's better to buy it now because you're buying it for cheaper? when there's like less content for it, or do you buy it later for potentially more expensive, but you also get more games for it as well? So it's a really weird situation to be in right now if you're unsure about getting it on release day. But we do have this to go over as well. Now, this is a rumor, so obviously the tariff stuff is completely correct because we've obviously seen it's been international news and stuff. But in regards to the Nintendo Switch 2 prices, this rumor has popped up today saying a new Nintendo Switch 2 rumor. Of course, take it with a huge grain of salt. Nintendo will have an internal meeting tomorrow, so on Friday, to discuss the Switch 2 price change. So Nintendo is having a meeting to talk about changing prices. So it seems Nintendo has listened. It's pretty obvious we all have been so insisted, it is about time. So a Spanish YouTuber going by this name, I've never heard of them, but they have some friends and they know people who work in the industry, and that they claim that this Friday, being tomorrow, Nintendo is having a meeting with managers and other important people to talk about the prices and the issues and maybe lowering them. He doesn't want to expose his source, but the few things he has leaked turned out to be real, so I think it's reliable, and I repeat, he knows people with private information. He also claims that Nintendo is scared of our negative reaction, and they are panicking, at least a bit. But I insist the meeting is to talk about what to do now. It doesn't mean they will lower the prices, but at least we can say for sure they have listened to us. So good job, guys. Let's keep with the hashtag drop the prices, and we may end up getting what we want. So personally, I don't think they're going to drop the prices at all. I think if anything happens, then the prices will just get higher, especially for the console anyway. They might... I mean, the thing about Nintendo is it's one of those companies that just never ever drops the prices. Like when you have Sony and Microsoft and stuff, they do like these big deals and stuff where it's like 60% off, whatever. Nintendo never ever do that. The most they're ever going to do is like 10% off during a discount sort of situation or whatever, but they never just drop it by a lot. So the consoles, I'm pretty sure, will not go down in price, whether this is true or not. But you'd like to think maybe the games and accessories potentially have that chance, but it doesn't look like it's a thing that's going to be happening. I think we just have to deal with the fact now that gaming in general in today's society is just more of a luxury than it once was, and you're gonna have to pay more to be able to, you know, play that luxury. And it sucks, you know, it really does, because not a lot of people can obviously afford, you know, $80 games and $450 consoles and, you know, 480p cameras that are like £50 or whatever. I completely understand that, but it just looks like this is the direction that they're going to go. Like when GTA 6 drops, I would not be surprised to see that being like $100 plus game, and it's just the way it's kind of going forward. So I don't think they're going to drop the price. If anything, if this is an actual meeting, then they might just be talking about obviously the information that's just come out, the fact that the tariffs are being paused for 90 days. Apart from China, then it could be a meeting about that. But in the grand scheme of things, I cannot personally see the prices being dropped, because people are still going to buy them. Like pre-orders are still selling out everywhere, like that. It's not like nobody's buying them, so there's no shortage of consumers and stuff. It's just one of those things. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but that is a rumor that popped up, and of course that's the kind of pre-order tariff update as well that I know a lot of people have obviously been speaking about. Coming up next, I wanted to go over this update regarding the Nintendo Switch 2, the physical edition games. So some misinformation was being spread, obviously, when the Nintendo Switch 2 was fully revealed at the start of April, about the full game not being on the cartridge, but a Nintendo spokesperson has confirmed the Switch 2 edition games we've seen so far are 100% on cart. So physical versions of Nintendo Switch 2 edition games will include the original Nintendo Switch game and its upgrade pack, all on the same game card. So this is the kind of article that we're going to be covering. So Nintendo confirms no download codes needed for physical Switch 2 edition games. So in the week following the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, there's been a steady drip of news about the various features and options of the Nintendo Switch 2. Aside from small bits of text on websites and box art, people have been piecing together the missing details themselves. So one such issue was with the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of games. These are original Nintendo Switch titles with upgrades and in some cases extra content, marked with a banner on the box art stating the Nintendo Switch 2 edition comprises the Nintendo Switch game and the Nintendo Switch 2 edition upgrade pack. There's also a URL and a QR code to learn more. So however, what wasn't clear was what was actually inside the game boxes. So we saw clarification from Nintendo and received a comment. So the main concern was that the box might only include the original Nintendo Switch game card with the upgraded delivered as a download code. This would mean you couldn't resell, loan, or trade the full game, leaving you with just the base Switch version. Thankfully, this does not seem to be the case. So in a statement to Vux, a Nintendo spokesperson has said, The physical versions of Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games will include the original Nintendo Switch game and its upgrade pack all on the same game card, i.e. they are exclusively Nintendo Switch 2 game cards with no download code. Alternatively, some publishers may release Nintendo Switch 2 editions as download codes in physical packaging with no game card. So currently Nintendo has The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, yada yada yada, as Switch 2 editions. There's also Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma available at launch. You can find the best deal on the launch games with that. And then we also have another update about that regarding these physical editions, saying My Nintendo Store, the Switch 2 edition physical releases have all content on the Switch 2 game card. So when we go to this article, it says, yesterday, Marvelous, a third-party publisher, confirmed that Nintendo Switch 2 Edition physical releases have all the content, including the game and upgrade pack, on a Nintendo Switch 2 game card. So this is coming from two different sources, saying, regarding your query, if you purchase a Nintendo Switch 2 Edition of a game on physical format, you will receive one cartridge with the upgrade already in it. However, if you already had the game for Nintendo Switch 1 and only were to purchase the upgrade pack on My Nintendo Store, you would receive a digital download code regardless if you have it on digital or physical format. So this should clear all doubts and rumors surrounding the nature of Nintendo Switch 2 Edition physical releases. Last week there was confusion over whether the upgrade pack came in the form of a download code and whether or not the game was on a Switch or Switch 2 game card. So at least that's one positive thing coming out about the Nintendo Switch 2 lately, because like I say, as of right now, it all seems to be super negative. But when you buy the physical game card of anything, it's gonna have the game on it. It's not gonna be a download code. Coming up next, we have another Nintendo Switch 2 update to go over. This was posted by the Game Rant, saying the Nintendo Switch 2 development team explains how the console's backwards compatibility technology will improve the performance of Nintendo Switch games. So it says, according to the Nintendo Switch 2 lead development team, the upcoming console will not be backwards compatible with original Switch games at solely a hardware level. However, the Switch 2 will run most Switch games via a new solution that combines hardware-based compatibility with software emulation that converts the Switch game data into a real-time solution on the Nintendo Switch 2. So the Nintendo Switch 2 was fully revealed during the April 2nd Nintendo Direct episode, which delved into the console's main functions and controls. The Switch 2's handheld display has a 120Hz refresh rate and can run up to 4K resolution while in docked mode. The upgraded Joy-Con 2 controllers can also be turned on their sides and rolled on a surface like a PC mouse in compatible games and apps. In short, the Nintendo Switch 2's feature set makes it 10 times more powerful from a graphical standpoint than its predecessor. While the Nintendo Switch 2 will feature unique games like Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, it will have access to most of the original Switch games library. So with backwards compatibility on past Nintendo consoles like the 3DS and the Wii U, handheld things at a hardware level, the Switch 2 will do things differently. According to Nintendo's Ask the Developer Volume 16, developers, I'm not sure how to pronounce the names, but basically they explained that the Nintendo Switch 2's backwards compatibility solution for running Switch games simultaneously translates a Switch game into a solution the Switch 2 can utilize. So while some original Switch titles like Kirby and the Forgotten Land will receive additional content via Nintendo Switch 2 Edition upgrades, many others are expected to have improved performance from just having additional hardware headroom. So Dota stated that software emulation would require the Nintendo Switch 2 run at full capacity, which would drain battery life. Sasaki added that the mix of software and hardware would allow the Nintendo Switch game data to be converted into a readable Switch 2 format in real time. Though games like Pokémon Scarlet and Violet will get free Switch 2 updates to fix potential issues. There's a lot of issues in Scarlet and Violet, make specific performance enhancements. Kawamoto stated that not all Switch games will be compatible with the Switch 2 at launch. Sasaki said that the Switch has over 10,000 games to sort through for backwards compatibility. With increased hardware level performance that has been compared to a mid-tier PC, the Switch 2 could be a hot commodity with Switch game collectors. Only time will tell how the Switch game performance on Nintendo's new system will compare to the original experience. So it does sound very good. It sounds like it's not just going to be like a port or whatever. Like when you play the Switch 1 game on the Switch 2, it generally is going to run better. There's going to be a lot of free updates for loads of games such as Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, and it's just going to be a much better gaming experience when you play these games on the new console. Finishing things off for today's video, though, we have a new rumor to go over that popped up on 4chan regarding the stats, the abilities, and the typings of the Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Evolution Starter Pokemon. This image is not real, by the way. It is taken from, I cannot remember the artist's name off the top of my head, but they do they've done a really good job of all of these sort of new Mega Evolutions. But yeah, this is not a real image of Mega for Alligator. But anyway, let's just quickly take a look at it. It is obviously a rumor at the end of the day. Take it with a grain of salt, yada, yada, yada. So we have Mega Meganium, which is going to be a grass fairy type, which we pretty much already know. I mean, we know the typings now anyway because it's been leaked, but grass fairy type with the ability Triage, or Triage, however you pronounce it, with the stat distribution of 80 in HP, 82 in physical attack, 130 in physical defense, 123 in special attack, 130 in special defense, and 80 speed. So a very, very bulky grass fairy type there for Meganium. For Mega Emboar, it's going to be firefighting with the ability Reckless. It's going to have 110 HP, 163 physical attack, 75 physical defense, 100 special attack, 75 special defense, and 105 speed. And then we're going to have Mega for Alligator, which is going to be a water and a dragon type Pokemon with the ability Strongjaw. It's going to have 85 HP, 155 physical attack, 120 physical defense, 79 special attack, 100 special defense, and 88 speed. So for Alligator, very slow, pretty bulky, very good attack stat. Emboar is going to be having a very good attack stat, not bulky at all though, but relatively fast with 105 HP. And then we've got Meganium, which is going to be relatively slow, very good defenses though, and then also a pretty formidable special attack stat as well. But those are the apparent stats, abilities, and typings of the new Mega Evolution starters for Legends ZA. So let me know your thoughts on that, all the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, and then also what are your thoughts on the price potentially changing for the Nintendo Switch 2, and then also the Legends ZA stuff as well that we covered. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like down below. It's trying to hit 500 likes. Leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.